one of the most important numbers that we must know as healthcare practice owners is our PAC, or patient acquisition cost. Simply put, it means how much money are we spending to have one person come to our practice and become a happy paying patient. So first, let's go over the formula on how to identify this. And second, I'll tell you what to do with that data. So to identify your PAC, you're going to take your ad spend over a given period of time. I like to calculate this monthly. You'll divide it by the number of new patients, not consults, but people that became paying patients in your practice. And then that'll be your PAC, or your patient acquisition cost. So let's use Facebook, for example, if that's a channel you use. If you spend $3,000 a month on Facebook, that includes both management and ad spend. So let's say $500 is management and $2,500 ad spend. That's a $3,000 total. So $3,000 total. At the end of the month, if you have 10 people that become paying patients into your practice, that's a $300 acquisition cost. Now, is it good? Is it bad? Right now, it is what it is, because we have to also know your LTV, or your lifetime value, to know if this number is too high or too low. So today we're just going to focus on identifying what that number is for your PAC. All right. Now, once we've identified this number, now what do we do with it? And by the way, this should be calculated per acquisition channel. So why measure your PAC? Number one, it lets you know, are you making money or are you losing money? So for example, in what we just shared, if you have a $300 acquisition cost, but your patients are only paying you $200, well, that means you're losing money. Every time a new patient comes in, you're losing $100. I talked to a doctor just the other day who their acquisition cost was about $1,000, but they were only generating $2,000 of revenue. That doesn't leave enough meat on the bone to cover all your overhead expenses and be profitable. So it's important to have your acquisition cost lower than what you will generate. Right? Again, we're getting that formula later, but your acquisition cost must be lower than the amount that your patients are paying you for the first month of care. Second, it allows you to create predictable growth. So once you know that you can acquire a patient for a certain dollar amount through different channels, now you can just hit go, hit the gas pedal. So if you had a machine and you knew that for every $100 you put into it, you got $1,000 back, how many times would you do that? Right? I would keep shoving $100 bills in there because it kept returning over and over. Well, in business and in healthcare practices, once you've established some proven acquisition channels and you know that dollar amount, well, then you can just hit go and invest more funds there to create predictable growth, predictable new patients coming into your practice. And number three, it lets you know where to invest or to reallocate your marketing dollars. Now, most practice owners I speak to, they have no idea what their PAC is. Some have an idea of what their general PAC is, meaning they don't know it per channel, but they know that, hey, I spend about, let's just say $10,000 a month on advertising. I get this many patients, so this is my average. Well, that's good to know. It's really not the best. What you need to do is measure it per channel. So, for example, if Facebook's a channel, you need to calculate this for Facebook. If Google's a channel, calculate it for Facebook. If you have a magazine article that you advertise in, calculate it for that, and so forth. So every single marketing avenue that you have should be listed. Even your patient referrals, which by the way is the lowest acquisition cost you should have, is word of mouth. But you want to measure this for every single one of your channels. That way you know, is it high, is it low, is it working, is it not working, and where can I reallocate my sources? And so if you haven't already, start measuring your PAC today, because when you know the data, then you can identify the right growth levers to pull to help your practice grow.